This episode is brought to you by Slip and Slide. Do your agents slide all over a roof, while 20-year-old boys have no problems whatsoever? At Slip and Slide, we help your agents traverse the treacherous expanse of a nearly flat roof. We understand the challenges of placing one foot in front of the other, and will teach your agents how to walk, run, jog, and even crawl. We are OSHA, but not Obama, approved to help your team learn how to walk. Remember, if it's not slip and slide, you will slip and slide. Welcome to Truth is Now Treason. Now, there's just been a ton going on. And so as a result, we're delaying our newest series that we were going to start. It's called Signs, and we're going to be talking about the different things we see happening in this world and how they are mirroring what the Bible says will be happening in the last days.
But until then, we are covering the Trump assassination attempt. And as we all know, the facts are still being investigated and we are learning new things each week. But in this episode, we wanted to focus on the government and the media lying or trying to hide the truth about what transpired during this event.
Now, we understand that when a news story breaks out, a lot of the times there's confusion. You have one witness saying one thing, and then somebody else will say something completely different. But often with time, these things do get sorted out.
One thing we have learned, though, so far is that there were numerous failures in the Secret Service that day and even leading up to this Trump rally held in Pennsylvania. One of those failures you already heard about in our opening regarding the slope of the roof. Dietrich was making fun of the Secret Service director's statement saying she never put an agent on that building's roof. The one where the 20-year-old shooter was, because it was unsafe due to the slope. But if you look at the image of the building, it's almost flat. It's a very minimal slope. So her comment has raised red flags and caused many to question the Secret Service's actions. So listen to this audio from Town Hall. This came out about a week ago, and unfortunately, we keep learning more failures regarding the Secret Service, and this definitely raises our suspicions at the same time. So keep in mind, Secret Service agents, they are trained for one thing, and that's to protect the President of the United States, in this case, the former President of the United States. So take a listen.
Of notes that I'm going to look at here. Just about a couple minutes ago, these senators came out of this briefing with Secret Service. They've been asking for it for days now, finally got it with the director and Secret Service staff. And the top headline that has come out of it, according to Senator John Barrasso, just spoke to him as soon as he hung up on this briefing. He said that apparently the Secret Service had identified as a character of suspicion this man, this shooter, because they saw a rangefinder on him as well as a backpack. And this all happened more than an hour before the shooting actually occurred. So they saw the guy and they identified this guy as suspicious. Now, more details coming from a source familiar here who was also in the meeting tells me that about 10 minutes before former President Trump went onto the stage, they had gone from looking at this guy as suspicious to now looking at him as a threat. That is coming from this briefing that the senators were in. They were told the Secret Service had called it in to a center that this guy they now identified as a threat about 10 minutes before President Trump walked on stage, and they still allowed him to walk onto that stage. I'm told the Secret Service agent in charge there was on the phone with local and state police about the threat while the shooting was taking place. That's huge.
So we know that the shooter was identified by Secret Service as suspicious 1 hour before Trump took the stage.
And then the shooter went from suspicious to a threat a mere 10 minutes before Trump went out to speak. This brings up numerous other questions.
Yeah, why was he upgraded from suspicious to a threat? Why was there no drone coverage at this rally? Now, it may have helped the Secret Service and police not lose the shooter during that hour where they were assessing this person as to what kind of a threat he was.
If there is a good probability that there is a threat in the vicinity, then why was Trump allowed to go out to the area where it would be easiest for him to be attacked by the threat.
Yeah, I mean, these are quite honestly simple questions. If we can come up with these questions, then why has the director of the Secret Service not sufficiently answered this? And here's what the director of the Secret Service had to say to ABC right after the attempted assassination.
This is an event that should have never happened.
Who is most responsible for this happening?
What I would say is that the Secret Service is responsible for the protection of the former president.
So the buck stops with you?
The buck stops with me. I am the director of the Secret Service. It was unacceptable, and it's something that shouldn't happen again. I'm being told that the shooter was actually identified as a potential
threat.
Person of suspicion. Units started responding to seek that individual out. Unfortunately, with the rapid succession of how things unfolded, by the time that individual was eventually located, they were on the rooftop and were able to fire off at the former president.
So the Secret Service director, Cheadle, says that the buck stops with her. Her words, not mine. And we do agree with that. What does it mean? She is the one who is ultimately responsible. She's in charge. If something goes wrong, especially at this magnitude, it is her fault.
Yeah, so if she's the one in charge and something does go wrong, she is the one to be fired. But she has said that she will not step down. So in all reality, that means the buck does not stop with her. She will not accept full responsibility for what happened.
And this is a definite example of someone saying responsible comments, but not really meaning what she says. If she truly meant that, she would have resigned already.
Yeah, so what does her boss, Alejandro Mayorkas, have to say about this?
I have full confidence in the leadership of the United States Secret Service.
Full confidence? Based on what? Full confidence that they were trying to get Trump shot?
Or full confidence they couldn't track someone who has just been deemed suspicious and then upgraded to a threat.
Oh, here it is. Full confidence that they would allow Trump to step out and be in the crosshairs of the threat?
Well, I think Biden told him to do that, right?
Yeah, with his comment of bullseye.
Yeah. Yeah, please, Mayorkas, what are you basing your full confidence on?
I bet it comes down to this. Listen to Cheadle's words in an interview on CBS in 2023, about a year ago.
As I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
So that's what Mayorkas was confident about, that he could get the Secret Service to DEI itself to death.
We need to attract diverse candidates? Well, why not just get the best no matter who they are? Considering what the Secret Service is supposed to be doing, wouldn't it be in our nation's best interest to hire the best people for the job no matter what their sex, sexual preference, or skin color is?
Yeah, you should be looking for the best no matter who the person is. We don't care who that person is. We want the best. And unfortunately, what is shocking to me is that many on the left are trying to paint those on the right, people like us, as hateful. Here's just one example. CNN, a headline to one of their articles, read this: right-wing media figures blame women in Secret Service and DEI for security failure in Trump shooting. Let's be clear. No, we are not blaming women. We are blaming a DEI hire who wasn't the best, but still was put in that position because she had a vagina. Did I say that? You know it. I know it. And real American people know it.
Yeah, again, hire the best. I don't care who they are. I mean, this is not small potatoes. This is huge. We have both here seen firsthand how hiring based on DEI just kills an organization.
And this clearly is a case of taking an organization that wasn't broken and breaking it. Because if you think about it, we haven't had an assassination attempt since the 80s. That's awesome. But now, under the Biden administration, it is so bad in the Secret Service that they have an equity director who said this: It is a mission imperative and the ultimate goal to spread DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion within the agency, with the agency hosting seminars on respectful use of pronouns. In other words, they're spending taxpayer dollars going to pride parades and teaching seminars, trying to train their agents on using the correct pronouns.
Yeah, so the ultimate goal of the Secret Service, it's not to protect former and current presidents. It's to use preferred pronouns. It's not to hunt down people who are making counterfeit cash, because that was the original purpose of the Secret Service. It's to spread DEI.
I guess pronoun usage is more a threat than an actual person with a gun.
After Christian nationalism, it's the greatest threat to our nation.
We are using the equity director's words here. This is what he said he wanted his agency to do. So this is the problem. The Secret Service has goals that have nothing to do with its purpose. And we wonder why we have such a fantastic failure happen in Pennsylvania. I wonder if the training time used for DEI had instead been used for actual training, what the difference would have been.
Yeah, and on top of that, another thing that would have made a difference would have been if there were more people there to protect Donald Trump. Trump's people stated that they asked for additional people to protect him, especially at large or outdoor events. And the Secret Service stated it did not get these requests. In fact, here's Mayorkas stating this in an interview with George Stephanopoulos.
You also received a letter from the chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee that suggests your department may have, quote, rebuffed multiple requests from President Trump's security detail to increase protective resources. How do you respond to that?
That is unequivocally false assertion. That assertion is unequivocally false.
But then we found out later, oops, that Mayorkas lied, because the following is from a town hall article just released this past week, and I quote, "The Secret Service acknowledged on Saturday that it had turned down requests for additional federal resources sought by former President Donald J. Trump's security detail in the 2 years leading up to his attempted assassination last week, a reversal from earlier statements by the agency denying that such requests had been rebuffed." Now, I like how they didn't say the word lie. It was a reversal from earlier statements.
And notice it also said the last 2 years. Now, what Mayorkas goes on to say in the audio, and we didn't play that part for you, but he goes on to explain how he did give Trump additional resources in June of this year. Now, this was only a few weeks prior to the Pennsylvania rally, though. Why just a couple of weeks before? Now, I know what excuse they give, but it has to make you kind of wonder, doesn't it? For 2 years, you deny, and then all of a sudden, there's an Iranian threat against Trump, and you grant a few additional resources? Things that make you go, Until next time, my fellow traders.